Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Whiny Women. Like and subscribe. Today, I'm with my friend, Kelsey.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking about some good stuff. We're going to be talking about pageant stuff first. Yes,
okay.
Everything pageants. But first, we're drinking, what is this again? Apothic wine Inferno. It's one of my favorites. So cheers to that. I've had it on here before, so no explanation needed. So my friend Kelsey here, she has done pageants before, and I'm just very curious about this world because it's not something that I ever thought about doing. But, you know, everybody grows up and you watch Miss USA.
Yes.
We used to watch, you know, those kind of pageants growing up, and I remember seeing them, but not ever in my head did I think, I want to do that. So when you were little, what made you grow up and actually do it? Say, hey, I'm doing this.
Well, it wasn't something that I started until I was more of a teenager.
Okay.
So,
How old were you?
let's see, 16,
Okay.
16, 17 was when I got my first title. And so it wasn't something like as a small child, you know, my family was like, let's put our small child into pageants. But I
Yeah.
was a dancer growing up, and
Okay.
I was a singer, and I did musical theater. And so I was involved in the performance world. So I was familiar with the stage and, you know, being on stage, performing, and being in front of people. And so when I was maybe a little bit younger, maybe 13, my aunt sent me a message about a program called Miss Connecticut's Outstanding Teen. And that was a part of the Miss America's Outstanding Teen National Program. And that is for, I believe it is preteens and teens. I believe it's maybe 12 or 13 to 17. And it's like pre-Miss America.
Okay.
And so that was how I was introduced, and I couldn't afford it. Like, my family could not afford to kind of put me through it. But it's a scholarship-based program. So the Miss America organization is a scholarship organization, and they've actually diverted. So they're now a competition. They no longer even want to be known as a pageant. So Miss America has made a lot of shifts as far as honoring women and things of that sort. And so as a teen contestant, there was no swimsuit at the time. So teens were not, you know, required to wear a swimsuit. There was a fitness, so more of like a fitness wear, on-stage question, private interview. Then they had like scholastic achievement, so grades were a part of it.
That's good.
And then talent.
Okay.
And so I really wanted to do it. It sounded like something cool. And then there was a lot of community service involved too. You have to have a community service platform that you work through the community. But we couldn't afford it. And so I just, you know, went about my business, and I ended up doing a nonprofit event for a cat rescue organization back in Connecticut that I did work with. And Miss Connecticut was there.
Okay.
And so it was a modeling event, and I was modeling some clothes from a local boutique. And Miss Connecticut and her mom were there. It was Acacia Courtney at the time. And they sought me out.
Really?
And they said, have you thought of doing this pageant? And so they became a really big source of support in, you know, getting me in and helping me through the process. And so I ended up with the title Miss Shoreline's Outstanding Teen, 2015.
Very cool.
I took my title for my year, and I competed at Miss Connecticut's Outstanding Teen, and that was one of the greatest experiences of my entire life, and I was hooked after that.
So regarding pageants, what do you think is a misconception that most people like myself, watching it once a year, you see, you know, Miss America or Miss USA or whatever on TV, and then, you know, you just go about your business, and then you just kind of think things. A lot of people think things about pageant girls. So what would you say are some misconceptions?
It's very common. I took a communications class one semester of college, and I had to do a persuasive presentation, and I did it on, you know, why are we stereotyping pageants? And so one of the biggest stereotypes that I found is that, you know, we're dumb and blonde and dumb. You know what I mean? Like that dumb blonde kind of stereotype where we look pretty and we look good in a swimsuit, but we don't have a lot to offer, and we're not intelligent and that kind of thing. And of course, there are instances in any pageant system where things come up, you know, in the media, and that only solidifies that only solidifies the stereotype, right? But
something that's coming to my mind is that one girl when she was asked a question, and I don't know, like,
that's what was coming to my mind as well.
Her answer is just kind of like
didn't make any sense.
Yes.
So that's the kind of stuff that surfaces in the media, right? The media is very one-sided, and they don't show the vast majority of what happens. And so things like that only feed this idea that we're stupid and this, that, and the other thing. But in all reality, especially in a scholarship organization, we're educated. The girls, the women, they're educated. So Miss America is like a pre-college, or for women that are in college, right? You're getting scholarship money. Miss USA is more for...
That's something I did not realize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like women that are in college, they get scholarships, they help... Miss America helps pay and fund educations. I've gotten scholarships, but Miss USA is a different idea. So Miss USA is more for women who have finished school and have moved on, to their careers. But you have doctors, nurses, scientists. The Miss America, I believe now. I've not kept up lately. It's bad. That sounds really bad. But. She was, I believe right now, is a scientist. Mm-hmm. That is her profession. And she did a science experiment at Miss America and she won.
Yeah.
And cool. So a stereotype is the whole, the dumb blonde, like they look pretty and that's all they have to offer. Mm-hmm. And that is not true. It takes a lot to get up on stage in front of thousands of people, even hundreds of people at some level still, and get asked a question and in 30 seconds or less have to not only come up with an answer, but formulate and speak and answer the question in front of not only the judges. Yeah, right? So I've been asked questions about politics, drug addiction, DACA. I mean, I've gotten some pretty difficult questions. And
you're not aware of any of the questions that they're going to ask? Not like,
no.
Like they don't give you like a list and then it could be one of these?
No.
No? Okay.
In some... They'll tell you that it'll be a question from your interview. In others, it could be any current event under the sun. So if I competed tomorrow, they could ask me, what do I think about the COVID restrictions? And I would now need to be able to formulate an answer to these, politically based questions.
Okay.
And so
that gives me a newfound respect for coming up with an answer. I don't know if I would be able to do that.
It's pretty difficult. And then the other stereotype that you hear is like pageant girls, they're catty. Or they're mean, right? You've heard that, right? About...
Yeah. You would think.
Again.
I don't know.
You can't speak for everybody. There are instances where that's the case. Mm-hmm. There are some women that are born and bred pageants. There are some women that are very highly competitive. So in every aspect of life, you're going to find people that aren't always like desirable, right? That don't treat people the way they should be treated or, things along those lines. But for the most part, through my time in Miss America, it's sisterhood.
Yeah.
There's a massive sisterhood there that you gain these women
going through the same thing.
Yeah. And so, I've had instances where, it wasn't a great experience, but in life, you don't have great experiences with everyone you meet. That's just not an expectation. It's not a realistic expectation to set. But Miss America in particular, and I've not done Miss USA, but I know people that have. Most pageant systems that I've seen, there's a very strong sisterhood and everybody is very supportive of one another. So that's another kind of stereotype.
So I took a personality test, and on the test, it gauged different aspects of your just types of personality traits, and one of them is they gauged agreeableness. And what that is likability, flexibility, willing to comply, and most women score really high on agreeability. Most women are. Because it gives you like the amount of people who took this test and where I stand regarding agreeableness. And I'm apparently not agreeable at all.
Okay.
But for the most part, that, makes sense as to with pageants and women and personality traits and how most women generally get along. That makes sense now in my head.
Yeah. And it's something that you see anywhere in a business, anywhere you go.
There's always those few.
You're always going to find that. So to think that you won't find some of that in pageantry is, again, not realistic. But whether you're, in business or politics or whatever sphere of influence that you're in, you're going to find
Yeah.
You're going to find that. You know what I mean? But of course, the media and of course, movies and things that come out don't help us either. That's a good one.
I love that
world
movie.
peace is not an answer. Don't answer that. You won't get scored very well.
I would say April 14th.
But then, of course, there's like toddlers and tiaras. Okay, that's there are things out there that give us a bad rap.
Yeah.
Now, not all child or toddler pageants are bad. Some of them are non-competitive.
Yeah.
Some of them are just like for fun. But again,
where they don't put in fake teeth on your child.
Like
so
that.
Weird.
Now, Miss America has a princess program.
How old are the kids?
Oh, I should know these things off the top of my head.
Do they still not do swimsuits for minors?
They got rid of swimsuit altogether. Miss America, in
general.
Yes, Miss America no longer competes in swimsuit.
So being in that world, were the girls mad or upset about that? Because I feel like a lot of times, I wouldn't say a lot. I would say all of the time, all of them look fantastic in a bathing suit. So I don't even know how the scoring worked.
It was like a toss-up.
Okay.
There's a lot of women that's their strong point. That was not my strong point. Mm-hmm. Not because I don't look good in a swimsuit, right? Not because I don't have it going on or whatever, but I just am not I didn't grow up like modeling. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So my walk hasn't always been there. And I'm not super confident when you're not the most confident. That the judges see that.
It shows during swimsuit.
Yeah. So interview, I typically win overall interview in most pageants that I compete in.
Yeah.
That's my strong point, is talking to people, answering these questions, and just getting interviews like you're just getting to know people. Yeah. So I do very well in interview. I do well in on-stage question. And so swimsuit was not my strong suit. So really it depends on where the girl stands in swimsuit. I was okay with it. Some were upset about it. It does promote lifestyle and fitness.
Yeah.
It does, promote, but it also depends.
Did they supplement it for anything? Like add anything in there?
Yes,
since they took it out?
added like a red carpet segment.
Which is like what? Ball gown?
They switched it up so it's not called, unless they change it again.
It's not called swimsuit anymore, but they walked on the red carpet in swimsuits.
Oh gosh, they're making so many changes. I haven't been actively involved in Miss America for a little while. I've kind of taken a break. So they changed it to like this red carpet thing where you wear the evening gown rather, but they don't call it. They weren't calling it evening gown. Like they were scoring it on something else. And I guess they brought evening gown back. There's a lot of changes within the organization happening. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people right now that are unhappy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that are thrilled. So it's like, it's kind of hit or miss.
I read an article earlier that they're now letting transgenders in, or wanted that to happen. And that's strange, I think. But, it's a matter of my own opinion. But I bet that's also a toss-up between people.
That's a toss-up in any situation. I mean, it's the same in sports. Mm-hmm. That's happening in sports too. It's definitely a toss-up, and they are making a lot of changes, and that has a lot of people riled up. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were very unimpressed with the production of the Miss America 2020 pageant. Wait, no, 2019. Did they not do a pageant in 2020 because of COVID?
I don't think they did.
The last pageant that they...
Or was it like all remote?
The last...
I don't remember.
All the days and the months are the same. I'm sorry.
It's true. They're all like blended together for the past 2 years.
Pageant that they did, a lot of people were very unimpressed like with the overall production. And so they're kind of in this transitioning phase where they're trying to figure out where they want to be as an organization and how do they want to be known. And so they're trying to figure themselves out. I actually do have a potential pageant coming up. And so
very cool.
It's brand new. It's like the first time they're ever doing it. And it's called Miss Volunteer America.
Okay.
So it's like diverted from Miss America, just different organization, different board. And it's all about volunteering. And so each state now has a system. And so it would be Miss Nevada Volunteer is the state pageant that is happening, I believe, in July. And so
what's the scholarship for with that?
I am not sure yet. It's so new that they're still working out all of the details. I do know that registration is opening on Monday.
Okay, you gonna do it?
Yes, I am. So I'm getting ready to register. And the way that this works is it's more of like an at-large setup. So when I was Miss Battleborn 2019, I went to Reno and I physically won that local title.
Yeah.
So I won the title. I took it home with me. But they have what's called at-large, which means you can purchase the local title instead of winning a pageant and then take it to the state competition and compete with it. So that's helpful when like a brand new pageant or maybe a like Miss Nevada, right? They were having a hard time getting girls. So allowing the
Really?
Yes.
In Sin City? What?
Yes.
That seems very strange.
When I moved here, I'm like Vegas in pageants, right? And no, there weren't really a lot of girls. They had a hard time finding girls.
It seems so strange to me.
It was strange to me too.
Population here.
And so the at-large gives the ability to have more girls and then fund and go forward and do the state pageant.
Gotcha.
So I would end up claiming a local title. I don't know which one yet. And then that would allow me to go to Miss Nevada Volunteer in July and compete at
Very
state.
cool.
So I'm kind of easing my way in back of this like pageant state of mind.
Yeah.
And they are doing swimsuit.
Okay.
So I am now thinking about what color swimsuit is going to match my red hair.
Yes.
And what do I have
Blue.
to do? I was thinking blue or like emerald green or like
Ooh,
turquoise,
yes.
you know? So I'm trying to figure out like how do I
Nice.
ease my way back into this
World.
Yeah, I need to start preparing a talent and kind of getting prepared.
Are you gonna sing?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yes.
So my last question for you is, I know you mentioned earlier that when you were first posed with a idea of pageants that you couldn't afford it. So for anybody watching who kind of is just like, this is something I can't do or can't afford to do, what would you say to them? Or tips?
I feel like when there's a will, there's a way. And so for me, I kind of met the right people who were able to help me network and fundraise. So if you really want to do something like that, there are ways to earn the money. And so, for example, with Miss Nevada Volunteer, you pay the fee, but that fee pays for your sash and your crown and your title. It also pays for... Oh, there's a little bunny there. It also pays for... sorry, I got distracted by the bunny. It also pays for the state competition.
It's like a baby.
And so when you pay when you pay the fee, it goes towards certain things, and they always let you know what is covered. And so fundraising is always an option. There are ways, family support, things like that. And then for some pageants, I'm not sure how Miss America is doing it, but sometimes there is help.
Okay.
So I don't believe...
it's not just for the rich.
No, not at all.
Okay.
And then, of course... It's expensive to, be involved, but it doesn't have to be. So you don't have to go out and buy a $600 gown. You can find gowns, you can find wardrobe. There are ways that you can make it inexpensive.
Yes.
Because it's not about what you're wearing or how you look necessarily, but it's about your character. Do you have what they're looking for? So there are definitely ways to make it less inexpensive and more realistic as far as price.
And I will definitely tag you in this post of this
Absolutely,
video, so that
thanks.
way if anybody has questions
Yes.
or wondering who's running for Miss Volunteer, Nevada Volunteer,
Miss Nevada Volunteer, yes.
it will be you.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.